one.
And we're off again, and this time the Runner's Diary podcast on tour made a trip over the county bounds to the Kingdom of Kerry and to the Killarney parkrun on what was an absolutely glorious morning, perfect morning for running, sunny and crisp. The parkrun itself on the beautiful grounds in the park in the centre of the town. Can't speak highly enough about this one. Beautiful tree loop course, and the finish is worth hanging around for. So stick around and we'll talk our way through this one. Now, as always, there's three things you got to remember about parkrun. It's not a race. That's number one. Number two, there are no winners. Number three, the race director is the run director. He's not called a race director. I think I mentioned all these three things once, but I may have got away with it. A bit like Faulty Towers, really. Don't mention the war. No, as well as hanging around for the spectacular finish line footage, you've really got to hang around to see probably the most enthusiastic and encouraging steward I have ever seen at a parkrun or possibly even at a race. This guy appears 3 times in this video, and all I'm going to say is what a guy. Hugely encouraging, and we'll give him a shout out when he appears here any second. But the second time around in particular is really enthusiastic. Guy never stopped cheering everybody on. What a hero. So again, for those that are new to this, you'll see a number of graphs or gauges on the screen now. You have elevation and grade, you have the course itself, you have pace, duration, and my heart rate. And probably not looking into these too much at the moment, but as eventually, I suppose, my training will start kicking in a bit more, hasn't been too much at the moment, then I'm hoping to kind of focus in on these paces a bit more and see real improvements. But good to be able to see a course, I think. So again, that's what these videos bring, and good to see maybe my own progress. So again, stay reasonably consistent in this one in the first mile or two. Definitely tire as the race goes on. This week I had an extremely busy week at home for a number of reasons, and I think I told in the legs eventually in this race. Now, here he is. This is the steward that I was mentioning about earlier. Absolutely hugely encouraging. Hats off to this guy. Steward of the day, steward of the year. So, as you may notice, if you're familiar with this park in particular, actually, you're taking the outside loop, so the outside circle. And again, as I approach kilometre 1 here now, I'm passing through the first kilometre in 3:45, so probably about where I am at the moment. So, fairly good first kilometre there. I think the big thing about a lot of these park runs that I've been attending of late is seem to get very isolated in these runs. Again, I think I mentioned earlier a race, slipped it there again in earlier, but it's a run. And I seem to be getting isolated quite a lot as opposed to, I suppose, running in a big club 5K or maybe big town, whatever you want to call it, big event 5K, where you will be surrounded with a lot more runners. The BHA races in particular, I suppose, give you a lot of runners and you can pace off each other. Finding with a lot of these park runs, you kind of ended up isolated on your own, and eventually the tiredness kicks in that it wouldn't if you were in company, kind of more mentally as well as physically. So we've nearly there now for the first loop. We've gone around the outside track, I suppose, and we're now heading our way back to the start line again. Loads of stewards on the course, all extremely helpful. A few photographers out there as well. A few bits of music blaring to keep us all in tow. So again, as I said earlier, can't speak highly enough about this park run. Beautiful grounds. It was a beautiful day, obviously, to be running in it. But if you haven't been, Killarney Park Run, get it on your list. So we've passed through the start line, and that's the finish of loop one. And we head out again for loop two. Now, I will speed up this section a bit here until we reach that famous steward because I think he's worth seeing again. Right, get ready for this absolute legend. This is class. This is the way it should be. I just want to give this guy a huge shout out again. Just can't tell you, it's probably not even coming across well in the audio as well as it was on the day. But this guy made running yesterday's park run a whole lot of fun. So back through the original start line again, and we're out on the loop for the third time. So we're going to finish the loop, and then you'll see a sharp turn to the finish line. But again, big shout out to all the stewards there. Legs really starting to feel it here now. I'm tiring and just kind of hanging in there. And I knew I was another race the following day doing a 10 miler, which I wasn't kind of racing that one as much, just going to go out as a long run. So I was kind of happy enough to do two races together. But yeah, we're starting to struggle a small bit here now. Very isolated, as I said earlier. But look, again, just enjoying the beauty of this magnificent park run. It's one, again, I can't speak high enough, but I said it already more than once. It's definitely one to visit if you're anywhere in the region of Killarney. As we know, parkrun is absolutely nothing without volunteers, and this guy, as I said, has it all. He should be nearly hired for races. I think if you can get a hold of this guy, an absolute legend. So rounding the corner here now again and starting our journey back to the start line for the last time. So finishing loop 3, and then we'll go on a small bit more before a sharp right turn, and we'll enter a section that hasn't been on any of the 3 loops so far. But what a spectacular finish. You'll see it shortly now as we round the corner above and loop back, and the view in the distance, and I hope the camera does it justice. What a setting. Overall, in this park run, there was 199 finishers. It's park run number 266 at the Killarney House Park Run. There was 28 volunteers on the day, and again, huge shout out to the 28 volunteers. Without them, there is no park run, there's no run, there's no race, there's no events. Shout out to some of the runners there. Yevhen Kubranov is the winner, but you can't say winner. Yevhen was the first home in 1758, followed by Lily Reardon in 1828, Rory Clifford 1851, a good friend of the podcast, and I got to speak to Damien. I think he had a PB there. It was Damien O'Mahony in 19 minutes, Marie Claire Healy in 1913, and my good self finishing in 1939, which is staying on par with the 5Ks I've been doing over the last number of months. So again, shout out to all the 199 runners, the 28 volunteers, and you really have a gem, an absolute gem of a park run here. So congratulations to everybody involved again. So this is it. This is the finish, and look at the absolutely spectacular views into the distance there. And of course, the morning I chose to go back there was spectacular in itself. Clear skies, beautiful views into the distance. Hope you like these videos. If not, no problem. If you do, I'd encourage you to like the channel and like the videos and help us grow the channel and grow these videos even more. Thanks for your support as always on the Runner's Diary podcast across all our channels.